Hello, welcome to Scented Pages. Welcome and welcome back to my channel, baby. Oh no. To my channel, baby. There we go. I had best get it right. Had a little frog in my throat. Goodness gracious. But I got my water, so I've been putting the flavor pack, so not necessarily Crystal Lights. I like Crystal Light too. Usually I'll get Crystal Lights or whatever, but I'll go to Sam's and get Crystal Lights. But I've been going to a couple of the other little stores and getting the other flavors by Weiler's and Sunkist. The box of Weiler's, they have one that is mermaid, and I mixed the mermaid flavor pack with a lime. Delicious. And I have just been enjoying those lately. And my water, yum yum yum. So anyway, over the past few weeks I've been so busy. That's why I've been away for so long. Oh my goodness, it's so busy. But I'm happy to say that I definitely see things finally turning around and calming down and getting better for me. So I said, well, while I have a couple minutes, let me get on outside while it's beautiful and sunshiny and get in one of my last few outside videos before it gets to be too cold. It's getting ready to be fall, and I want to start like getting into some different kind of content for the fall. So yay. However, through all of it, I've been listening to plenty of books and reading plenty of books. So I wanted to talk about those, and of course what I'm reading now and what's going to be coming up. So I'm happy that I can finally begin to relax again and get the chaos out of my life. Yay, yay, yay. So I read 6 books, but I want to talk about 5 of them. So I've got 2 books by Carter Wilson that was really good. The Dead Husband and The New Neighbor, those are really good. I'm gonna wait to the end to do those. And I read Listen for the Lie. Listen for the Lie is by Amy Tintera. I did A Happy Marriage by A.R. Torrey. God Ain't Blind, number 4 in the God series by Mary Monroe. And like I said, The Dead Husband and The New Neighbor. So first, Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. It says, Lucy and Savvy were the golden girls of their small Texas town. Pretty, smart, and enviable. Lucy married a dream guy with a big ring and an even bigger new home. Savvy was the social butterfly loved by all. And if you believe the rumors, especially popular with the men in town. But after Lucy is found wandering the streets covered in her best friend Savvy's blood, everyone thinks she is a murderer. It's been years since the horrible night, a night Lucy can't remember anything about, and she has since moved to LA and started a new life. But now the phenomenally huge hit true crime podcast, Listen for the Lie, its too good-looking host, Ben Owens, has decided to investigate Savvy's murder for the show's 2nd season. Lucy is forced to return to the place she vowed never to set foot in again to solve her friend's murder, even if she is the one who did it. The truth is out there if we just listen. So, I really enjoyed this book. Let me see. I really did. I gave it 4 stars. and I said it was excellent and overall hard to put down, but I was a little disappointed with the ending, but not too much because I liked the reasoning for the condition that Lucy was in. Full spoilers, by the way. In this story, we are following Lucy, who is back in her hometown after 5 years of absence for her grandmother's birthday party. She left to restart her life after she was thought, let me see, after she was thought to have killed her best friend Savvy because she was found one night wandering, covered in Savvy's blood with some pretty serious wounds caused by Savvy because Lucy's DNA was found under Savvy's fingernails. But because of a head injury that she had sustained herself that night, Lucy has a terrible case of amnesia and can't remember what actually happened, or whether or not she really is responsible for killing her best friend. Also, there's a podcaster named Ben Owens whose podcast is named Listen for the Lie. He is rehashing her case, Savvy's case, and drawing more attention to it than Lucy wants, because it's like 5 years later and she can't remember anything from that night anyway. And she's just really, really ready to move on. But Ben wants to talk about it and try to get Lucy to remember anything that will try to get to the bottom of Savvy's murder from that night. And I like the aspect of each episode of Ben's podcast slowly bringing together the clues of what happened the night Savvy was killed. The podcast within the novel, and especially listening to it on audio, was really fun because you get like this little musical introduction at the beginning of each episode, and it's like you're actually tuning into the podcast. It was really cute and clever, and it made you feel like you were actually listening to it in real time as the book progressed and more podcasts were published. So you kind of get a sense of when the public opinion of both Lucy and Savvy shift. The podcast interviews with other people and reveals new information and evidence in the case about the girls, because neither of them, Lucy or Savvy, are the people that the public and everyone else in their town and their lives think that they are. Lucy is not as evil and as bad as everyone thinks. She's actually really funny and has that really dark, self-deprecating, dry sense of humor that only going through a trauma can give you. And her grandmother, I liked her grandmother, so she came back into town for her grandmother's birthday party. I forget how old she was turning, but I said in her grandmother you can kind of see where she gets that from, and I really liked her grandmother. She said a lot of quotable things that I'll get to later. Now, Savvy was also not nearly as sweet and innocent as everyone thought she was. Matter of fact, Savannah was the most surprising character of them all. She was low-key kind of bad, but not to Lucy. I liked her and Lucy's friendship, especially the ending. And she and Lucy were truly best friends, and I liked that. I also liked how Ben's podcast seemed to act in a way that jostled Lucy's memories. So how her memories was sort of coming to coincided nicely with the progression of the podcast episodes. I also like that throughout the book we get a glimpse into Savannah, into who Savannah is, via her voice in Lucy's head, which made me think that maybe Lucy did kill Savannah, because that was actually really crazy. Like, all those inside thoughts of her, they were hilarious. Now, I was thinking in the book that it might have been like some sort of like a dissociative personality disorder type of thing. The stuff that Savannah would say was insane, and like she was saying it in Lucy's head. It's hard to describe. You had to read the book, but it was hilarious. And the narrator of the book would like change her voice doing it. Chef's kiss. Absolutely funny. And her grandmother Beverly was a hoot. I love old ladies that have lived their lives, and the wisdom that they have acquired gives them strength in kind of being over it. She was speaking on her back in the day and said to Lucy, "We were all so repressed back in our 20s. Just focus on marrying the first jerk who asked." And Lucy said, "Was Grandpa the first jerk who asked?" "Yes." They say some other things. Yeah, okay, so they had said some other things, and then Beverly is the main character, and she said, "I could have left my husband and moved to LA by myself." Beverly is her grandmother, and she said, "I could have left my husband and moved to LA by myself like you did. I was supposed to get married and stay married so my husband could protect me. I needed to be transferred straight from father to husband, or something terrible might happen to me. My life vastly improved once both those men were gone. Men don't protect us, not really. They only protect themselves or each other. The only thing men ever protected me from was happiness." And then later on, and she was talking to Ben on the podcast, she asked, when he had asked her about Matt was Lucy is the main character, that's right, Lucy's ex-husband. She said of him, "I could tell that Lucy was madly in love, and I wanted to like him for her sake, but I didn't really. He was charming in that way that always felt suspicious to me. Some men, they've got to put on a show when they're around women. It's like they don't know how to talk to us or respect us, so they choose over-the-top chivalry. If I pull out her chair and make a big show of talking about how moms are heroes and women are actually the strong ones, they won't notice that I don't have any interest in listening to a single word that comes out of their mouths." So that's how her impression of Lucy's ex-husband was. But I just kind of, like I said, admire when older women have a different perspective on life once they get to, things, and they have a greater wisdom about what's really important. Sometimes I think that we put emphasis on things that we think are supposed to be important, and they really aren't. And you end up kind of wasting a lot of time. So I kind of took that from it. And then she also, later on in the book, when everything had came out, she said, "How do you believe that man over your child?" She was talking about Christine and Dawn, Lucy's parents. Oh yeah. So in the story, everybody just believed what Matt said. I want you to read the story, so I don't want to give too much away. Even her parents were inclined to believe that their child was a murderer, which was crazy work, right? So she said, "How do you believe that man over your child?" And she said, "How did Matt believe Emmett over his own wife?" And then Ben said, "It does seem strange." And Beverly said, "Not strange, exactly, typical. Men always believe each other." Which was funny. Now, I said the reason why I'm giving it 4 stars, taking it a star off, is because the title of the book kind of misled me and kind of got on my nerves a little bit, because there was no real definitive plot twist lie that I was listening for, and that's what I wanted. So instead, the lie was more of a web of half-truths and stuff and secrets that needed to come out in the telling of the story, not of a single lie. So the ending was kind of also another thing that irritated me a little bit, was kind of left, the ending was kind of left up for interpretation. And I don't necessarily like endings left up for interpretations, as if what really definitively happened. I don't know. I don't believe that Lucy killed Savvy, but there was enough evidence to support that she didn't. But I also don't like open for interpretation endings. So I like my endings to be wrapped up with all the little loose ends tucked in nicely and placed in a box with a little bow and a label on it, goddammit. So, you know, I was thinking that I was going to have this Twizzler twisting twist, and, you know, by a lie. And the only connection that the title really had with the book was that it was not that, and it kind of diminishes it, but the title of the book wasn't a definitive lie. It was just the title of the podcast and the book, which was still fun and cute, but it wasn't what I was expecting. So I took a star off. Next I did A Happy Marriage by A.R. Torre. This is my first book by her. I never read a book by her, and I was pleasantly surprised. I really liked it. It says, Los Angeles homicide detective Dinah Marino may have a complicated relationship with her family, but her psychiatrist husband Joe makes her feel safe, secure, and happy. She couldn't want for a more loving or trusting man. But throughout their 10-year marriage, she's been keeping a secret from him. A secret she'd take to the grave. Dr. Joe Marino loves his wife more than anything in this world, but there are things he's learned to keep close to his chest. When a missing woman tied to his wife's latest case is admitted to his hospital, doctor-patient confidentiality lands their marriage on some new and uneven ground. As Dinah digs deeper into her case, tension works its way inside their picture-perfect home. Now, the carefully constructed lies between them don't just simply threaten the delicate balance of their marriage, they could kill. I gave this one 4 stars, and I said A Happy Marriage by A.R. Torre. I enjoyed it. We follow LA police detective Dinah and her psychologist husband Joe. They love to name creepy guys Joe. I wonder why that is. It's supposed to be. I said, is it because the name Joe is supposed to sound and feel unthreatening, kind of like an average Joe? I just noticed that. Also, I couldn't really understand a few things in it, but that, I guess, is like the mind F part of the psychological thriller. That I liked the elements in it that were kind of given the MK Ultra feel, with what a lot of the research that her psychologist husband was doing. He was doing a lot of suggestion and like manipulation through that with his work, through medication and suggestion and wordplay and things like that, making people create habits and desires and things that on their normal they wouldn't do, which was really interesting. I like it when I finish a book, but but the figuring it out still stays in my mind. Dinah and Joe had a weird marriage, but I guess that's how they liked it. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it, besides that it was a page turner. You want to get to the end, but it had a few plot holes in it that made the ending scatter my brain a little more than I liked. Because why? Why did Dinah have this estranged relationship with her sister and her daughter? All for the sake of this whack-ass marriage with this man where y'all aren't even, like, sleeping in the same bed or making love. Oh, my goodness. Their marriage had never been consummated. And, I'm just like, you know, with the world, it was a good book, but a little bit confusing. And like I said, there were a few plot holes, like with the guy Frank or Fred. There was this investigator who was a DA investigator, and he was watching Dinah for the stuff that he did, but nothing ever really for the stuff that she did, but nothing ever came from it. And I was wondering about that. So, whatever. I took a star off of that. So yeah, that was it. Just 4 stars for A Happy Marriage. It was good though. Now I have God Ain't Blind, book 4 by Mary Monroe. Annette Good Davis is a survivor, and while life's obstacles have often knocked her down, she's never let them keep her there for long. To Annette, life is all about family and old friends like Rhoda O'Toole. And right now, Annette needs all the friends she can get because her marriage is in big trouble, and she has no idea why. Lately, her husband Pee-wee barely has the time of day for Annette, and she suspects he may have fallen for another woman. Desperate to regain his affections, Annette goes on a crash diet, gets a total makeover, and looks hotter than she has for a long, long time. Everyone notices, everyone except Pee-wee. Annette is ripe for the picking when she meets Louis Baines, a handsome young caterer who showers her with attention. Soon, Annette is embroiled in a full-blown affair and spends money on Louis like there's no tomorrow. But when Annette learns a terrible secret about her new lover, she realizes that she's in way over her head. Her life crumbling down around her, Annette turns to the only person she knows she can trust, Rhoda. With Rhoda by her side, Annette's determined to find a way out of this mess. But when the truth finally comes out, Annette must face the fact that she may have destroyed the life she loved. And this time, not even Rhoda can help make things right. Oh, this book was a really good book. I enjoyed it. It was, like I said, book 4 in the series. I will say that Annette and Rhoda have absolutely fallen from grace and are a messy duo, and they are the worst. I was so mad at Annette for the whole book because why couldn't she on Pee-wee? Girl, what Pee-wee did to you after he loved you no matter what? When you were your biggest, when you were your saddest, when you were your worst. After you accused that man in the very last book, accused him of cheating and this, that, and the other, and found out that he wasn't, and then you turn around and do it, make it make sense. She has been the worst. And I can't wait to see how things wrap up for her. I was so upset with Annette during this book. I just felt like she did poor little Pee-wee so dirty, and he really didn't deserve it. She and Rhoda both have really fallen from grace. They grew up to be nothing like the women I thought they would be or wanted them to be. From like book 1, the girls that they were are totally vastly different from the women that they became. So far, they've been their best selves as kids, and that says a lot. I am really looking forward to the last 2 books in this series, though, because I want to see how Annette, Rhoda, and Pee-wee age and end up, and I especially want to know if Otis will ever find out about Rhoda and Bully having a damn affair for the entirety of their marriage. Honey, I want him to snatch and drag. That's what I want him to do. Hilarious. Not the entirety of their marriage. So yes, I gave that one 5 stars. I just could not believe the audacity that Annette had. How you gonna get cute and then act up? Show your whole behind just because you lost 4 dress sizes, ma'am. And Pee-wee was like, but I liked you better big. Like, I didn't have no problem with the woman that you were, the woman that I fell in love with. Child, fix it. Fix the whole book. I can't wait for the last 2. And I started book 5. I think it's God Ain't Through. But I'm not too far in it, so I'll do an update for that later on. So now I really want to get to the meat and potatoes of this video because I really enjoyed the 2 books that I read by Carter Wilson. So he wrote The New Neighbor, which I had gotten from the library a while back, and I physically read that one. I got that one from the library and physically read it. And then I ended up listening to it from the digital library Hoopla. Not listening to it, listening to his second book, The Dead Husband, which is related to The New Neighbor, on the digital library, which was really, really good. It was good. It was fun. So, what I liked about it, though, however, is what I enjoyed was reading The New Neighbor first. So he wrote The Dead Husband before The New Neighbor. So they came out, The Dead Husband first and then The New Neighbor. But I enjoyed reading it backwards. I enjoyed reading The New Neighbor first, followed by The Dead Husband, because I liked the perspective of finding out about Marlowe and his situation, and then getting to let me just talk about it in the daggone review. Let me read the review before I be talking forever. You'll see what I'm saying. The New Neighbor by Carter Wilson. It says, the synopsis: Aiden holds the winning Powerball numbers. Is today the best day of his life or the worst? Aiden Marlowe is the superstitious type. He's been playing the same lottery numbers for 15 years, never hitting the jackpot until now, on the day of his wife's funeral. Aiden struggles to cope with these two sudden extremes: instant wealth beyond his imagination, and the loss of the only woman he's ever loved, the mother of his twin children. But the money gives him and his kids options they didn't have before. They can leave everything behind. They can start a new life in a new town. So they do. But a huge new house and all the money in the world can't replace what they've lost. And it's not long before Aiden realizes he's merely trading old demons for new ones, because someone is watching him and his family very closely. Someone who knows exactly who they are, where they've come from, and what they're trying to hide. Someone who will stop at nothing to get what they want. This was so good. I said I really enjoyed reading, and the ending of this book, I gave it 4 stars. It's about a guy who always has played the lottery, and one day his wife dies unexpectedly of a brain aneurysm, something totally out of the blue and unexpected, and they weren't able to prepare for it. So they knew nothing ahead of time. But on the day of her funeral, Aiden Marlowe happens to win the lottery for millions of dollars. He immediately purchases a big, beautiful new home in Bury, New Hampshire, for himself and his set of twins. But he doesn't cope well at all with these big, drastic changes in his life. And I thought that it was going to piss me off with like a mental illness type of trope, like The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. And that book really, really irritated me really bad. With everything wrapping up to being just a trip down insane lane. It negates the entire book. Everything I read was a lie, and so what was the point? Why waste my time? And I thought that that's what this book was going to do, but it didn't. Thank goodness. I would have sizzled Carter Wilson's grits had he done that to me, because the book was too good for it to end like that, on that kind of trope. However, this book gave a balanced explanation and conclusion to things that could have happened when a person already has a burgeoning mental illness from stress on the horizon because of a sudden and violent change of life. Goodness. Couple that with a very real person effing with him, and you have a recipe for a great ending, in my opinion. It was really good. I liked how a lot of the things that were happening to Marlowe could be the result of his mind messing with him, or someone messing with him, like a physical person. He has 2 children, a set of twins, Bo and Maggie, and I really liked his boy Bo, and how he was not going to let his dad just slip down insane lane quite so easily, and he was on his father's ass about his drinking and dropping the ball with parenting. Another aspect of this book that I really enjoyed was its focus on the things that really matter. I'm sure that it's not lost on any of you, the juxtaposition of experiencing one of the saddest events in life, the death of a loved one, on the same day as one of the happiest events in life, winning a large amount of money. And while the person may want the money to matter, at that moment and at that time in your life, it just doesn't. And I said, the most precious things in life cannot be bought. And I said, time with loved ones cannot be bought. Time spent with people is the most and the only real valuable thing that we have. Once time is gone, it's gone forever. You can't get it back. And sometimes that's the only thing that we really do want with a person, is more of their time and more of their attention, their smile, their hug, or their presence. In the book, Marlowe said, all this wealth and what I want to do are the things for which money is meaningless. I want to stare into Holly's face and watch the corners of her eyes bunch as she smiles at me. I want the four of us to be back in our crappy apartment in Baltimore, struggling. I want to relive the birth of our children. So I said, and I also liked that they were from Baltimore. Before he hauled off and moved to Bury, New Hampshire, they lived a nice little quiet, cute little life in Baltimore, which I'm always attracted to books set in Baltimore. And then at the end of at the back of the book, it has a few questions. I didn't answer all of them, but I did answer a couple because it was really, it was good. It was cute. They were cute questions. It says, what would you do if you won the lottery? Would that change if your win came after terrible news like Marlowe? Excuse me. I said, I think I would do exactly what Marlowe did, which is buy a house. Nothing like the security of having a place to lay your head for the rest of your life. But I would still have to pay the property taxes and stuff like that. So I would budget for that too. But yeah, I would also want to go on vacation, but I would change the vacation if winning it happened in circumstances like what Marlowe was in, like winning the lottery at the same time as some sort of tragedy or something like that, or getting a large lump sum of money during a tragedy. It's just not fitting to go on vacation. I know I wouldn't want to go on a vacation or go and be somewhere in a beautiful setting without, or during a bad time or whatever. Ugh, it doesn't seem very fun. So question 2 was, like his father, Marlowe always plays the same lotto numbers, but Marlowe's numbers each represent something significant to him. If you were to use significant numbers from your own life, what would they be and why? And I said, I really can't answer that question because I don't ever see me playing the damn lotto. I hate the idea of spending my money and taking a chance on something without it returning back with something. I don't know. But I guess if I have to answer the question, it would probably be just a combination of random birthday numbers and I don't know. What do people use, like social security numbers? Is that how you play the lottery? I don't know. I hate it. I can't even really. It aggravates me. I don't like the whole lottery thing. No, thank you. Question 3. In choosing Bury, Marlowe leaves behind everything he knows. Why did he do that? And what are the unintended consequences for himself, Bo, and Maggie? I said he left behind everything he knows in an effort to restart his life after losing his wife so suddenly. I have no idea what drew him to Bury. He said it was some inexplicable thing, like he was just drawn there for some reason into that house. That was actually one of the things of the book that aggravated me, that he really couldn't put a finger on what drew him to Bury. And I was like, why the hell you chose that damn house in that town? What was it? Was it because it was colder there? It was aggravating me that they didn't answer why he chose that house, but he was just drawn to it. And I guess people are drawn to things. I guess, honey. Okay, so it says, threatening notes would be disturbing no matter what. But how do you feel about the signature "We Who Watch"? How does the suggestion of a group change the way Marlowe investigates? Now, "We Who Watch," definitely. I was thinking that it was like some sort of neighborhood watch, like a group of people. And so in the book, Marlowe hosts this like a housewarming party one evening, and he invites a bunch of people from the neighborhood. He expands his people of suspects. Like, he invited all these people in his home in an effort to kind of weed out who We Who Watch could possibly be. Which, I mean, I guess he better than me, because I wouldn't have invited none of them into my house for nothing. List Marlowe's coping mechanisms. How many of them are self-destructive? Honey, he got on them kids' nerves so bad with his drinking and boozing and losing his mind and brain falling all out his ears. He was the absolute worst. And he did not cope well at all. And I don't know. What did I say? I said he drank all the time. I think that he and his dad were Irish. As a matter of fact, he had mentioned something to his dad about having trouble breathing, and his dad had said something to the effect of the men in their family never have lung issues, but more so kidney issues from drinking. He relied on people also. But I said his drinking was pretty self-destructive. And I think that self-medicating during hard times is one of the worst things that a person can do. It opens the door to a slippery slope that can be a decades-long struggle to get out of, all from a situation that honestly could have been better healed if not dealt with alcohol and drugs. I'm saying usually people in bad situations in life, the situation will pass before this habit will pass. But a lot of times when people are experiencing things and you're going through things, it hurts and they don't know another way to deal with it besides to take their mind off of it with drugs and alcohol. But I don't know. I just feel that for me, especially with alcohol, it just makes everything worse. It makes everything worse, and I just feel like the bad time will pass so much easier without the added aggravation of substances that don't help. That's just my 2 cents. But that's what he chose to do, and he paid dearly in the book. Poor Marlowe. Now, the twist in this one was definitely twisting. I enjoyed the ending and how Marlowe came to the settling of things in his past with his current situation. It was really good. It was so good. It was so good. I'm not gonna talk for forever, but so the last book. And how long have I been talking? Oh, okay. This is the last one, The Dead Husband. Now, this one ties directly into The New Neighbor, because all the running around and pulling his hair out and foolishness that he was going through in the book, trying to get to the bottom of the disappearance of the family in this house before he moved in there. So Marlowe's whole issue was he wanted to find out what had happened to the entire family, why they just disappeared off the face of the earth, of the family that lived there before him, because he could just feel this energy in the house that was just like a weird energy that he just couldn't let go, that something bad had happened in the house. And for the previous residents, Logan Yates and the grandson and daughter Cora, all these people to just be gone, he wanted to know what happened. And so he kind of lost his mind, not only behind the death of his wife and winning the lottery and the boozing and the alcohol, but behind trying to get to the bottom of the disappearance of this family. It was so good. And then I read this book, and you find out how the family disappeared. It was so good. I enjoyed it so much. I was having so much fun. Oh my goodness. So listen. The Dead Husband by Carter Wilson. I gave this one 5 stars. 20 years ago, an unspeakable tragedy rocked Rose Yates' small, affluent hometown, and only Rose and her family know the truth about what happened. Haunted by guilt, Rose escaped into a new life. Now she seems to have it all: a marriage, a son, a career, and then her husband is found dead. As far as Detective Colin Pearson is concerned, Rose is guilty. Her marriage wasn't as happy as she led everyone to believe. And worse, she's connected to a 20-year-old cold case. She can play the part of the victim, but he won't let her or her family escape justice this time around. Grieving her husband and struggling to make ends meet, Rose returns home hoping to finally confront her domineering father and unstable sister. But memories of a horrific crime echo through the house, and Rose soon learns that she can't trust anyone, especially not the people closest to her. Oh, riveting, honey. This book, the way that it just was the icing on the cake to my other one. Delicious. Really, honestly, chef's kiss. I'm so impressed with the story and the writing. I said this book was so good. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it even more because I read The Neighbor first. Starting off with the story set in the same house where the character, Aidan Marlowe, is obsessed with getting to the bottom of the disappearance of the former residents of that same house, the Yates, was chef's kiss. Wonderful. It was such a fun little roller coaster ride. It's even more ironic that we know, and wait a minute, I said it's even more ironic that we know and we don't know, and we know and we don't know exactly what happened to them, and it's kind of hilarious. Oh, okay. So I said it's even more ironic that we kind of you at the end of the book you know what happened, but you really don't. But it's still a satisfying good ending. Yeah, that's what I said. But Aidan is running all around like a chicken with his head chopped off, thinking that him being stalked and harassed is directly linked to the Yates somehow. Whole time, some of them are dead, and others, who cares? Because they're more than likely fine. We know that, but poor Marlowe doesn't. And now, also, this is making me think of the scene in The New Neighbor where Marlowe sees Rose Yates, like in a vision. I was thinking that she was dead or something. Whole time she's not. He was just really cracked. Poor guy. He's trying to get into and figure out this safe room in the basement that Logan Yates had. But of course Logan Yates would have a whole safe room in his basement. It's just the type of thing that a deplorable human being like him would have. He was the worst type of person, businessman and father. So it seems fitting that he would have a safe room in his basement. The Yates family dynamic was interesting, to say the least. If you like tense family drama with a strong paternal lead who rules with an iron fist, you'll like this. So we have Logan Yates, the father, his daughters Rose and Cora, and they each have one child. Rose has a son, Max, and Cora has a little demon daughter named Willow. The story alternates between the perspective of Rose Yates and Detective Colin Pearson. He is investigating the sudden death of Rose's husband, and the book opens with Rose and Max grieving the sudden and unexpected death of their husband and father. I can't think of his name. So they relocated back to from Minnesota back to Bury, New Hampshire, with her family.
her dad Logan and her older sister Cora. And boy, are those two a piece of work. And the three of them share a very dark 20-year-old secret that is ripping at Rose's conscience. The only one of the three of them that seems to have one. Rose is also a crime writer. She writes under a pseudonym, but she has been writing some pretty incriminating things in an effort to get old stuff off her chest. But her sister Cora is like, where can I stomp? Change it, heifer. You gonna have to deal with that old water under the bridge mess some other kind of way, but you ain't about to drag me down because you feeling guilty about something old. Cora was a mess and a great villain. Her older sister, oh my goodness. I really liked it. So, the twist at the end, I said, was definitely a twister. I loved it. Unput Down, a thriller. Both of them were really good, and I would recommend that you would first read The New Neighbor first, and then The Dead Husband. Great in that order, and to read. It's like a cute little project to get through. Yum, yum, yum. I had a ball. Let me see how long have I been talking. Ooh, long enough. It's time to wrap this up. Oh, wait a minute. No, before I wrap it up, let me tell you what I'm reading now, because I started Stone Cold Fox and I am enjoying that one. Loving Stone Cold Fox. I also DNF'd the Alice Network, and They Never Tell. I DNF'd the Alice Network because I just couldn't get into it. It was a little boring to me. Kind of like a World War II spy type novel. It was too much. And They Never Tell was YA, and I can't get into YA. So I also started, what will be coming up is The Last Party by A.R. Torre. My Loving Wife by Samantha Downing. That was really good. I enjoyed that. The Darkness Within by Lisa Stone. Another good one I enjoyed. Can't wait to talk about it. And then I'll be reading God Ain't Through Yet, which is book 5. And I think that's it. Wrap this up and I'll be... I just wanted to say real quick, I'm such a nerd, right? I love reading and writing and learning and stuff. So even though I've been super busy and have had to do a whole bunch of stuff outside of work and blah 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 with my life, I made a curriculum with a whole reading schedule and everything so that I don't get behind in my reading. So I've got my curriculum and I've got my little schedule with everything that I want to, get in, like my Kindle Unlimited books. My Bible reading, I got to make sure that I do that every night. Which audio books that I'm reading first, second, and third, and in which order, blah 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 blah. I wrote it all down. I've got it all together, and I be timing myself with how long I actually read every day. It's so much fun. I'm such a nerd. I can't help it. But I enjoy it. It's one of my favorite pastimes, reading and studying and stuff and whatnot. Honey, I don't care what in the world is going on in my life. I'm going to make sure I read me a book. Yay. So I just want to say that. See you.